No glory, no sick days, and constant back pain. Welcome to the life of a pyramid builder in ancient Egypt, where your career highlight is stacking stones for a god king who thinks you're completely expendable. Picture this. It's 2560 BCE. The blazing Egyptian sun beats down mercilessly as you, Jabari Sekhmet, wake up in your cramped workers' barracks outside Giza. The foreman's copper gong rings before dawn, announcing another joyous day of hauling multi-ton limestone blocks up ramps with nothing but rope, wooden sledges, and the constant threat of being whipped if you slow down. "Get up, you useless lumps of Nile mud," shouts the foreman. "Pharaoh Khufu won't build himself a stairway to the afterlife. You're not a slave, contrary to popular belief. You're a respected seasonal laborer, drafted through the corvée system that requires all Egyptian peasants to donate their labor to the state during agricultural off-seasons. Hooray for ancient labor law. The catch? You'd honestly prefer slavery at this point because at least slaves get fed consistently. But we get paid. Your friend Iset Capet reminds you as you gnaw on a piece of stale bread for breakfast. 3 loaves of bread and 2 jugs of beer daily. That's the royal treatment. Royal treatment would be not having to drag 3-ton blocks up a 480-foot monument to someone else's ego. You grumble. The Pyramid Project employs about 20,000 workers like you, organized into crews of 2,000. Your crew has the distinct honor of working on the west face of the Great Pyramid, where the afternoon sun is guaranteed to roast you like a sacrificial ox. You're part of a specialized team of stone haulers, which means your day consists of straining alongside 20 other men to drag blocks up steep ramps, using ropes that dig into your palms like angry beetles. The historical reality of your workplace safety program? Non-existent. Your PPE, personal protection equipment, consists of a loincloth and sandals. That's it. No hard hats for falling debris, no back braces for the constant lifting, and definitely no sunscreen for your increasingly leathery skin. Your workplace injury compensation plan is equally impressive. Don't get injured or you might get replaced. Remember when Nehemtui lost his foot last month when that block shifted? Whispers your coworker during a rare water break. I heard they just rolled him down the ramp and told his family he was promoted to the afterlife. Your team's foreman, a particularly unpleasant man named Jetty, approaches with his signature bamboo switch. Back to work. The sun god Ra didn't take a break when creating the universe, and neither will you. With all due respect, sir, you reply, Ra is a literal god, and I'm just a farmer from Thebes with chronic lower back pain. Your witty retort earns you an extra hour of work after sunset. At least you're not working in the quarries, where men chip away at solid rock with copper chisels that need replacing constantly. Or worse, you could be on the transport team, floating massive granite blocks down the Nile from Aswan, a 500-mile journey that claims at least 1 life per expedition. Historical accuracy check. Archaeological evidence from worker cemeteries shows spinal injuries were common, with healed fractures suggesting many workers survived serious accidents only to return to work. How thoughtful of management to wait until you recovered before breaking you again. Lunchtime brings your second loaf of bread and first jug of beer. The beer is weak but crucial. It contains antibiotics from the fermentation process that help prevent disease, plus it dulls the pain of existing. The ancient Egyptian version of ibuprofen. While not technically part of your benefits package, you're also developing impressive muscles and a killer tan. Unfortunately, your life expectancy is plummeting faster than a dropped chisel. Did you hear they're introducing a new shift system? Iset says between sips of beer. Supposedly we'll work for 10 days straight, then get 1 day off. 1 whole day? How will I spend such vast leisure time? Perhaps contemplating which part of my body hurts the most. You take another drink, savoring the momentary respite. After lunch, your crew begins the afternoon haul. Using levers, rollers, and ropes, you inch another massive block up the ramp. The technique is actually quite ingenious, a testament to Egyptian engineering. Scholars would later debate for centuries how these pyramids were built, generating academic careers and History Channel specials while completely missing the obvious explanation. Thousands of overworked Egyptians like you, destroying their bodies 1 stone at a time. Halfway up the ramp, disaster strikes. One of the rollers cracks, causing the block to shift. A worker named Amenemhat screams as his hand gets caught. "Don't stop pulling," Jetty shouts. "We'll lose the whole block." Your crew strains against the weight, muscles burning, as Amenemhat's screams echo across the construction site. When you finally secure the block, his hand is a mangled mess of flesh and bone. "Take him to the physician," Jetty orders dismissively. "The rest of you back to work. We're behind schedule." The physicians are another perk of pyramid construction. They're actually quite skilled. They have to be, given the constant parade of crushed limbs, heat stroke, and herniated discs. Archaeological evidence shows they could set broken bones and had rudimentary pain management techniques. Unfortunately, their primary pain management technique was drink more beer. By sunset, your body feels like it's been trampled by a herd of hippopotami. You shuffle back to the workers' village, where you'll eat your third loaf of bread and collapse onto your reed mat. Tomorrow you'll do it all again. And the next day. And the next. For the next 20 years. "At least we're building something that will last for eternity," says a new worker, still naive enough to find meaning in this backbreaking labor. "Great," you mutter. "Future generations can marvel at our work while having absolutely no idea who built it. They'll probably think aliens did it because they can't fathom humans being this mistreated." This is perhaps the greatest irony of your existence. Despite creating one of the most impressive structures in human history, a 481-foot-tall geometric marvel constructed with such precision that the base corners are accurate to within mere inches, you and your fellow workers will receive exactly zero historical credit. No inscriptions honor the builders. No monuments commemorate the thousands who died during construction. Your existence is a historical footnote. The next morning, you're awakened by excited chatter. Apparently, the pharaoh's representatives are visiting the site today. Hours later, you watch from a distance as Khufu himself arrives in a golden palanquin, surrounded by nobles wearing fine linen and gold jewelry. "Behold my magnificent eternal resting place," the god-king proclaims to his entourage, gesturing grandly at the half-finished pyramid. "Is it not the greatest wonder of the world?" The nobles murmur appropriate praise as workers like you continue hauling blocks in the background, completely invisible to the royal procession. "I shall reside here for eternity, ascending to join the gods themselves," Khufu continues, apparently untroubled by the thousands of actual human beings whose lives are being sacrificed for his posthumous comfort. After the royal party departs, Iset nudges you. "Did you see all that gold? And we get paid in bread." "If I believed in curses," you reply, wiping sweat from your eyes, "I'd say that in the future, his mummy should be displayed in a glass case while foreign children gawk at him and eat sticky sweets." Ironically, that's exactly what happened to many pharaohs, though not Khufu, whose mummy has never been found. Perhaps the ultimate worker's revenge. Your life as a pyramid builder continues for years, each day blending into the next in a haze of pain and beer. The only variation comes from the occasional catastrophic accident or infectious disease outbreak in the workers' village. On the bright side, if you survive long enough to become too old or injured to work, you might receive the honor of being buried near the pyramid. Archaeological evidence shows that some workers were granted tombs in the shadow of the monuments they built. Small comfort when you consider the ancient Egyptian afterlife beliefs. The pharaoh gets a golden boat to sail through the heavens, while you get more work. The Egyptian concept of paradise, the field of reeds, was essentially just more farming and labor, but with better weather. After 20 years of construction, the Great Pyramid is finally completed. Standing at the base, looking up at the gleaming white limestone casing, which would later be stripped away by subsequent generations, you feel nothing. Your body is broken. Your youth is gone. And for what? So one man could have an excessively pointy tomb? The final irony? Despite Khufu's obsession with ensuring his eternal remembrance through this monumental tomb, most Egyptians would eventually forget who actually built the Great Pyramid. When Greek historian Herodotus visited 2,000 years later, Egyptians told him wild tales about the pyramid's construction, having lost the actual historical knowledge. As you collect your final payment, 3 loaves of bread and 2 jugs of beer, the royal scribe announces that workers may now return to their villages. What will you do now? Iset asks as you both stare at the completed pyramid. You take a long drink of beer and sigh. I'm going to go home, lie down, and try not to move for about 40 years. You glance up one last time at the massive structure you helped build. A wonder that will stand for millennia, visited by millions, studied endlessly, and forever attributed to alien intervention because the truth is too mundane. It was just thousands of ordinary people with bad backs and worse benefits packages. You know what the worst part is? You mutter. For 1,000 years from now, people will take donkey rides around this thing, buy little pyramid souvenirs, and not once think about the fact that my herniated disc built this monument to royal ego. They'll be too busy taking self-portraits with it. And that, perhaps, is why it really sucked to be a pyramid builder in ancient Egypt. Not just the physical toll, the pitiful compensation, or the constant danger, but the cosmic injustice of creating one of humanity's most enduring achievements only to be completely erased from its story. At least the pharaoh got his eternal remembrance. All you got was a bad back and all the bread you could eat, which, to be fair, was exactly 3 loaves per day.